Welcome to Be Free and Fit, the show that believes that principles applied through the process bring long term sustainable progress. I'm your host, Brianna Dawkins, and today, you guys, we are going to actually be taking a slight shift in our episodes together. You see, I realized as I prepared for these different episodes that the principles that we've been discussing, they really kind of only work with self-love present. And with that new revelation and awakening, I realized that I needed to make sure that we're talking about self love on this podcast as well, because I feel like everything that we do should be out of love. So it's like if we love ourselves, then we can better love others, so on and so forth. So I feel like when it comes to anything that we're trying to learn or achieve through our health and wellness journey, I think that it first begins with love. So I'm a believer. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. He is the Lord of my life, okay? And because I am a believer, my definition of love comes from the scripture in 1 Corinthians 13:4 in the Amplified Version. So that one says that love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful. It is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag. It does not it is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not provoked, nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with the truth, when right and truth prevail. Love bears all things, regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each one, hopes all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times, endures all things without weakening. Love never fails. It never fades or ends. Now, this is a beautiful picture, okay? It is a super beautiful picture of what love is, and it's completely opposite than what we see on social media or any other outlet on the media. It's just completely different. But self love should push us toward loving ourselves better and learning how to love ourselves so that we can better learn how to love others. And I feel like that is a good overall arching theme. It's anything that we do, if we are able to do it to ourselves, we're able to now give that to others because we now know how to handle it. So we're gonna go into the next couple episodes with this in mind and literally break it down and apply it to our healthy lifestyle pursuit. So the first line here, it says, love endures with patience and serenity. Now, how convenient is that? I mean, we literally just did 2 episodes that were about patience. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, when I was going, to be honest, before I do any podcast, I pray and I ask, God, what should I talk about? What could be helpful, to whoever listens to this? And as I'm praying, I was actually having a very difficult time figuring out what was next. The first couple episodes came to me super, super easily. And then I was able to actually write out the next 12 episodes with no problem. But before I even sit down to figure out what the topic's gonna be and what's gonna be said, I usually do pray again, just to make sure that I didn't just write something down, or is there something else that I should talk about. And this is what came to me, and I really feel like if we can master this, our life can be so much better, and not just our health and wellness and this lifestyle and this journey, but I think the life of that, like that lifestyle that we live, period, can be better. So, we're gonna go right back into, patience. We ended with that episode, and it was like an overarching theme of like patience as like, a little intro to how patience can be utilized in a healthy lifestyle pursuit. But today we're gonna like dig even deeper and like really look at how to apply patience to our life so that we can really exercise it and put effort into building patience in our life so that we can better love ourselves in the process. So, as I came across a couple articles that were therapy related, I started to realize that one of the hardest skills to master in life actually is to stay patient with ourselves as well as others. Now, this is extremely important to apply in the area of, this is extremely important to apply effort to in this area because like when it comes to the lack of patience, it blocks change. So if the lack of patience blocks change, when we look at our healthy lifestyle pursuit, if the lack of patience blocks change, then how can we continue? Like, how do we have the endurance to pursue a healthy lifestyle long enough to see change as well as maintain it without patience? Crickets, like crickets should be right there, okay? Because we can't, we can totally like not. Instead, we end up denying ourselves support and we knock ourselves down. And like this is like one of the things that end up leading to the lack of motivation. And it literally leads to keeping us in this like never ending cycle of stopping before we even really started. And so when I started to look really deep into all of that, I was like, wow, it's like super important for us to try to really put some effort into building patience in our life if we plan on meeting any goal in life. It definitely is going to require patience. So a couple things to remember when trying to be patient with yourself is number one, continue to focus on progress, not perfection. So when it comes to working out, we kind of talked about this in one of the other episodes, but I want to reiterate because it's like when it comes to working out, have a plan A and a plan B, okay? It's okay to have more than one plan for that week, especially if you are like a, hot and cold type of thinker. Like it either is this or it's either that. And it's sometimes I feel like that type of thinking can like hinder more than help us. But I feel like if you have a plan A and a plan B, a best case scenario and a worst case scenario, it's a lot easier to stick with your commitment because things come up and sometimes you're a little bit shy of time or whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's a lot easier to stick to something when you have some leeway in your goal for that week. So for me, for example, this past week, I had a best case scenario. I'm going to do 3 miles every day. Worst case scenario, I'm going to do 2 miles every day because I have a little bit more, space in my schedule. So I'm like, okay, I can stick with that. And I've been doing this like like a couple months now. So I'm like, I can do that. And I was able to stick with it. But it was like one day that I had to like break up part of my like walk at a certain time, and then I had to finish it later on. And that's like just sticking with it, but it's not perfect. I wasn't able to perfectly do 3 miles every day. And so in the same way, you may be able to actually only fit in 10 minutes, of a workout as your best case scenario, and then 5 minutes as a workout as your worst. And the crazy thing is like after all setting all of those goals, like the craziest part of all of it is you still progress. Like even if the thought is still on your mind, you're still progressing. Like it's so many like other things that could occupy your mental space and be priority in your thought pattern and in your life and in your mind. But the fact that you are even thinking about working out and the fact that you're even trying to find a good place to fit it in your schedule means that you're winning, okay? And you're progressing in even that thought pattern. If it even hasn't like fully materialized yet, the progress is still there even if you don't physically feel like you're seeing it or it's there. So that's one thing to remember with the whole concept of progress and not perfection. Another example is like same with food, don't beat yourself up. Some, habits are really hard to break. But the fact that you have a mindset to want to, eat better, that is still a progress because at some point you could have been in a place where you're like, I don't care what I eat. I'm going to eat out. I'm going to eat what I want when I want to. I'm not going to even be mindful of what I'm putting in my body. Like, you just never notice like how much of a change you have unless you take a step back and really look. And it's not just about being perfect in your eating or being perfect in working out every single day. It's sometimes like good enough to just see the progress that you've made mentally and see how far you've came there, because as long as you continue to push forward and even if you slip up, you're still progressing. So I think embracing that truth, it can be super beneficial to us moving forward. Number two, have you like ever thought of how patience is built similar to like the discipline? And if anybody's listened to like the discipline, be discipline or build discipline podcast that we have, the episode we have, like I think it's like the second one. But anyways, yeah, like if you're trying to build discipline, you have to exercise it, to build it. In the same way, super ironic, right? You have to practice patience. So, a study published in Psychological Science shows that waiting for things actually makes us happier in the long run. So that's like a really cool, fun fact that I was like, wow, that's like really cool. Cause, when you're waiting for something, it actually feels like the worst thing ever. So the fact that it's actually, better for us to wait and it's like actually more fulfilling and a happier overall long haul of a thing. I just was like, that's crazy because I feel like we always feel like if we get it quick and now that it's even more rewarding than if we were to wait. But this, study tells us that it's even better for us to wait. So that's like something that we should definitely take and run with. A couple ways to practice patience is by doing something like small, such as like if you are at a drive-through, you can literally just grab your food and wait till you get home. I know that some people love to eat it super hot, but like that's just, an example of what you can do to practice patience. Another thing you can do is like if you cook your food at home, then you could wait till it cools down and then eat it. You can also, listen to someone else's opinion without interrupting them before you respond. That's like another thing you can do to exercise that patience or practice patience. You can also, like, aim for not rushing your results, such as like your desire to lose body fat, lose weight, gain muscle, gain more energy, stamina, or strength. Anytime that are patient with those results, it will help you build patience actually. So you will begin to gain more patience as you practice it. So remembering that, I'm hoping that that helps with us being more mindful of the importance of embracing patience and practicing it. All right, so number three is going to be reducing stress. When you are like overscheduled and over like preoccupied with worries, it completely diminishes your capacity to put effort into patience. Like there's a lot of effort that's required for patience, but if you're like super super busy, gotta go 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 go, like there's no room for patience there. So one way that you can kind of like solve this issue or this problem or this predicament that you may find yourself in is that you can like look at your schedule and look at where you spend your time and see what you can like cut out. Allow more time to focus on things that like are super important to you. Another thing that you can do is 3 abdominal breaths 3 times a day. They say that like this whole system of breathing in deeply 3 times a day, it can lower levels of stress hormone in your bloodstream. Another thing that you can try is our guided affirmation meditations. You could try any of those. It just gives you 10 minutes out of your day to go through 10 different affirmations and to just kind of really recenter your mind and just like relax in the moment on what you are meditating on and renewing your thoughts. And the last thing that we have that you can do is you can also reduce stress by making sure you're getting enough rest. That's like 6 to 8 hours is usually good for the majority of people. Physical activity regularly, eating healthy, especially avoiding sweets and alcohol, will help you manage your stress levels as well. So we've covered, a couple things that can help you, actively build patience in yourself. But overall, the main thing I want you to grasp from all of this is that when you are like patient with yourself, that means that we are like 100% embracing ourselves with self acceptance and focusing on progress rather than perfection. It means that like we give ourselves some compassion, okay? We are like not withholding that compassion from ourselves. We're giving ourselves compassion. We are speaking to ourselves super kind, and we are like super empathetic with each other. Or not with each other. Well, yes, we'll work to that, but we're starting with just us. Like, so who we're being super empathetic with us, like with how we feel and what we're going through, and we see it and we are empathizing with that. So it's like if you find yourself, beating yourself up mentally about not doing something right or not getting something done that you want to get done or not being consistent enough or something like that, instead of like saying those type of things, like try just like being kind, to yourself. Try like just, talking to yourself and saying, I know this is hard. Like, I know this is a hard process, but you know what? We are making progress. Talking to you, like, say, we are making progress every day as long as we keep trying and don't give up. Start telling yourself that. And anytime that you feel like you are not making progress or you are not doing good enough, start being super empathetic and super kind and nice to yourself and just see how, that changes things. So, if we are really loving ourselves and practicing self love, it has to align. So, like, have you been patient with yourself? I'm gonna leave, that just open because, I know for me, there's definitely room for improvement. I feel like some days I try to be patient. Some days are definitely better than others. I feel like I struggle sometime because I bounce, for me, it's really difficult with the scale. Like, that's a real thing, you guys. For you to be putting so much effort and then you see like no pounds lost sometimes, or it goes up and you're like, why? Even though I know, sometimes you can drink water or something and it goes up, but I'm just saying like it's a hard process. But then I also had to like search my heart and like ask myself like what is the rush? Like why am I feeling like rushed, or why do I feel like I can't be patient in this area? And I feel like that's something that you can also do is you can like start asking yourself like why do I feel like I'm behind, or why do I feel like behind compared to who or what, or like what is the like standard of like where I should be. So those are a couple things to kind of like consider as you are processing these different things that we're talking about. So let's continue to dig deeper. Love endures with patience and serenity. Serenity is a state of being calm, peaceful, and untroubled. It's achieving a positive state of mind, which assists you in not feeling as troubled by life's ups and downs. Serenity helps you stay calm and true to yourself. Excuse me, I had to take a quick drink because I was about to cough, and it wasn't because like I'm sick. It was like, I don't know, just dry throat. So I was like, let me take a quick drink, but that was like a pause. So I was like, let me say why I just, paused. Okay. So, ways to find serenity in your life. Number one, give thanks. Like, start and end your day by just giving thanks for all that you have, from the breath in your body to a body that can move and function and perform even physical activity, or just walking up the street or up to your driveway, like to get your mailbox, like mail out the mailbox. Like, listen, like just being thankful and like keeping yourself in a mindset of like just being super thankful and having the mindset that like it's just thankful. So I think that that's one of the ways that you can find serenity and peace and calm in your life. Number two, practice acceptance. So life will always throw us some curveballs, and it can get like us super down if we don't practice acceptance. We have to acknowledge, and love who we are. We have to acknowledge and love our abilities right now as they are, without even developing them fullier or fuller or more. I stumble a lot while I talk, but like one of the things that I should be able to accept is that that is a part of me, and I don't need to edit every little like thing that's not seamless. There is no reason why this shouldn't be just given to the world as is, because this is real life. Like people don't walk around and not, you know, deal with different things. So I think self acceptance is like a huge thing that's needed. Move on from disappointments, accept what is, and continue to put effort toward progressing. And like that is the key. Number three, be kind. Make sure that your self talk is kind. Like, talk to yourself and say, like, you are doing a great job. You are not a failure. You are learning a lot about yourself. You are going to reach your goal. Get enough sleep. Getting the right enough of sleep will help you actually wake up with a clear mind and a relaxed mind. Enough sleep is different for everyone, but roughly, 6 to 8 hours, as we said earlier, is typically ideal. And then calm your wandering mind. Every once in a while, like your minds like to wander and they like to drift away into like unsettling thoughts. But instead, bring them on back, and bring them back to like what you can control. Like bring them back to the things that you love and care about. Bring them back to what you need in that moment to, clear that thought, clear out that mind. It might mean going outside and getting some fresh air. It might mean taking those 3 deep breaths. You just never know unless you reel that back in and try to like make a healthier choice with that thought or those thoughts. So, can you imagine if you stuck to like your routine of eating healthy, whatever that means for you, and working out, whatever that means, whatever's best for you, to be doing that consistently, while putting a lot of your effort in learning how to be patient with yourself so that you can be patient with others, and how much more enjoyable life gets with not like worrying about like the scale and the pounds and how quickly they're going off, or how slowly they're going off. Like, what happens when we completely just kind of let go of all of that stuff and we just remain calm, and we calm our wandering minds, and we decide to be patient with ourselves, and we decide to practice patience, and we choose patience, and we choose self-acceptance. Like, what happens to our lives when we are no longer like so frantic and in a hurry and in a rush to get to the next greatest and biggest thing, but we enjoy and embrace each moment. We learn from each moment, and we give ourselves time to embrace each moment. This week, I challenge you to being more mindful of these areas and navigate how you can show yourself some more love by being a little bit more patient and serene with yourself. So that's all we've got for today, guys. This has been real fun, as I always say, because it always is. The main thing that I want you guys to take from today is, if there's anything else that you didn't get from this episode, or anything else that you want, or more information about this topic, you can go to BeFreeAndFit.com. There you will see a blog that is about this topic. Also follow us on Instagram at BeFreeAndFitPodcast. Thank you for stopping by today, and please leave us some reviews, DM us any questions you may have about self-love specifically, or patience, or serenity, all the things, okay? If you have any questions about all of it, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to, dig deeper and answer those, or look into it if we don't know, okay? So continue to pursue a healthy lifestyle, and until next time, I need you to promise me one thing. Promise me you won't give up.